Hello and welcome to Ellen Ruth Soap. I'm Ellen and today I am making my creamy goat's milk unscented bars. No scent. Some people have really issues with fragrant oils or even essential oils, very sensitive to that. So I like to keep in stock, if I'm on top of it, at least one option of unscented soap. So that's what we're doing today. I will do goat milk and oil method for the color swirls. Just because it's unscented and sort of a plain Jane type, I got to do my swirls, you know, and because this is going to be all natural, we will do a white kaolin clay in a portion and my blush kaolin clay. So it will be color swirled with clays, which are so wonderful in soap. I love the feel of it in the lather. I think clays are a great additive in your soap. So unscented, pretty swirl. Let's get everything pulled together. Got to get my hair pulled back and get ready to make some beautiful, creamy, unscented goat milk soap. All right, it's soap additives time, and I have my white kaolin clay and my blush kaolin clay that I'm going to set off to the side to do the color swirls after we get this all up to emulsion. So right now, the additives are my goat milk and oil. I'm going to just add that right on in here. Such creamy goodness. Again, unscented doesn't mean the soap has to be shy on any of the luxury. So got the goat milk in there, and then to bump up the creaminess of that, I'm going to add my heavy cream powder, 2 tablespoons, and 2 tablespoons of colloidal oats. And we'll get this all blended in, and we'll come back when the lye is all cooled off and ready to move forward. So let's get this blended in. It's time to add the lye solution in here, and if it looks a little shadowy in the studio, one of my big overhead lights burned out and I'm in the middle of this, so we're just going to deal with shadows today. I have to replace, it's one of those big light filter bulbs. Anyway, got to replace that. So in the pot here I have distilled water with some cane sugar dissolved in there, and sugar is a lather booster, a bubble booster. Love lathery soaps. So there's sugar dissolved. I put Tussa silk fibers and sodium lactate. That's what's going on in here. All right, so we're going to get this up to a nice emulsion, light trace, and then we'll split for the clays coloring, which is going to be beautiful. So let me talk about today's recipe that I'm using is my proprietary soap blend. It took me about 10 years to settle on this soap recipe. I don't share this particular recipe. It's my go-to. Look at that color change. That's the lye reacting with the goat milk. Anyway, what I am going to do though is down in the description box, I will share with you a test batch video that I did a while back where I share 4 different really good soap recipes, as well as kind of how to formulate and make your own soap recipe. So I really encourage you to try different recipes, tweak them a little bit, and find the one that you love and just kind of make it your own. So we've got emulsion here. I'm going to go ahead and split off half of this. I want to do a 50-50 split, and that's one of the reasons I love these poly containers is because they have the little liter measurements on there, so I can get a really close eyeball of half, volume without having to weigh it out. So there, we've got half the batter there. And now let's do our blush kaolin clay into this one. All right, we're going to do 2 tablespoons of the blush kaolin clay in that pot. And we'll do 2 tablespoons of the white kaolin clay in this pot. And I'm going to take my whisk, because clays don't always blend in very easily, and just sort of make sure it's broken up in there really well, and then I'll come in with the stick blender. And that helps me to not over blend when I'm adding a dry mica or colorant in. So make sure I got all the chunks, and then I'll just pop over here and let me rinse this off. All right. We'll pop over here and do the same thing. Get it blended in. And then I'll stick blend a little. There we go. The next day, and look how pretty that is. I did come down earlier and steam the top. It didn't have any soda ash, but it was a little bit dull, and I just think it's so beautiful. I love that blushy color of the pink kaolin clay, the blush kaolin. It's just so lovely. All right, so let's get in here and see how those swirls came out. This was very fluid when I poured it, so we shall see how it looks on the inside. We're back to cut these bars, cut these loaves into bars. I love that top, that little twisty top that I do sometimes. It's so cute. Let's get in here and see what these swirls are going to do for us. Ooh, it's kind of cool, very marbly. It's pretty. So I tend to really like, fragrances, essential oils. I like scents, but I have so many people that don't. So are you one of those people that just wants a soapy smelling soap, or do you like all the fragrances, or do you like to mix it up, a little of both? Sometimes you want a fragrance and sometimes you don't. I really do understand people with, fragrance sensitivities. I've been places where a lady will have like super strong perfume on, and it'll make me sneeze. And so I get that. I really do. All right, let's get into the next loaf. And again, these clays, look at the side. They're so pretty. And I really do like clay in my soap. I think as an additive, it's just beautiful in the lather. It gives a nice slip feel. I just think clays are wonderful in soap, which is why I pretty much add them to all of my soap batches in one way or another. It's really pretty. It was very fluid when I poured this again, so I wouldn't call that muddied up though. I just think it's really swirly. I'm loving it. So yeah, back to fragrances and soap. I've actually found that even on when I use a fragrance in soap that really retains its scent very well, a nice strong soap fragrance, that it doesn't remain on my skin too much. After I get out of the shower, I don't ever have a conflict using a lotion that's scented with something different, or I haven't had that be an issue for me with a rinse-off product, which soap is. It's a rinse-off product. It smells good while you're using it, but I don't get a lot of lingering notes afterwards. So, I mean, because I like my fragrances, I do use a scented lotion. So I have never had an issue with that. I'm curious to know if you all have had issues with soap scents sticking around and bothering you after you've rinsed it off. I've never had that be a problem. Let's get to the next loaf here. But it's always good to hear what other people's experiences are. That's one of the things I love about YouTube here and being able to communicate with you all, sort of. When the video comes out and then I get the comments, is I feel like, well, first of all, I get some really good tips and advice and encouragement, but you know, it's a really nice way to communicate with you all and find out what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see, what you don't want to see. It's really kind of cool that way. So I'm just going to keep on cutting these, and like I do every batch, I'm going to let these sit, cut out, and let the air surface dry for several hours before I come back in and bevel the sides and do my soap stamping. I always do my soap stamping the same day as I cut. Well, I shouldn't say always. 99% of the time, I do it the same day that I cut my bars, just a few hours later. That is just what works for me. So, anyway, thank you so much for being with me today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything going on. And I hope that you have a really wonderful day today.